Good evening and
Haven't been here in a
welcome
while. So,
to the May 13th edition of the Patton Township Board of Supervisors. And as you are able, will you please join me in and stand in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
you're so dirty.
Great. I think we're going to, because our esteemed chief has a daughter who is participating in a very important event tonight, and we would like him to be able to go to it, we're going to jump ahead to, actually, we're going to have the chief introduce a proclamation that we are, or say a few words about a proclamation that we are going to present and sign, we hope, and then give us the public safety report.
And do the ordinance, the public hearing.
And do the public hearing for the ordinance. So let's do it in the order of the proclamation, which is, let me get to that. So it is the proclamation
3B.
declaring May 11th through the 17th as police officers' work. And I'm going to ask the chief to say a few words about the importance of making this proclamation and recognizing our brave men and women who are keeping this world a safer and equitable place.
All right, yeah, thank you. On behalf of the Patton Township Police Department, I would just like to thank the board for once again passing this proclamation, recognizing May 11th through May 17th this year as Police Officers Week. It means a lot to the officers who serve in Patton Township to have the support from the elected officials and from the staff level as well. So we really appreciate that you recognized the hard work that they do here locally. But also we want to recognize all the police officers across the nation. Today in Bellefonte, we had our annual law enforcement memorial service where we recognized officers and honored officers who had made the ultimate sacrifice, who were killed in the line of duty. This year there was 113 names, as well as I think it was about 25 canine, the dogs that were killed in the line of duty as well. So today, like I said, we honored those individuals by reading their names and having a very nice ceremony attended by many people today. So we really appreciated everybody coming out. But again, we just want to thank the board for the support that we get for our agency. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for those words. And now I'm going to actually ask for a motion and then a second to approve this proclamation.
So moved.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you so much, Chief. And let me also welcome Supervisor Rob, or acknowledge Supervisor Rob, who is joining us.
Hi, Chesky.
Susan's on as well.
We can only see the small portion. We can't see the whole room. It just says Patton Township, and that's it. The big area, it doesn't show the room.
Do you have it on?
That's on your side,
Now
ma'am.
we have it.
Okay, now you
Okay.
can see it.
Okay.
Great. Okay, so thank you for those votes, and we're honored to make that proclamation to show our support and appreciation. We'll now go to public safety.
No, we're going to go to the ordinance
We'll
first.
go to the ordinance first? Okay. We will go to the ordinance. Does anybody have a page for that really quick?
It's 3F, page 3, bottom of page 3.
Page 3, gotcha. Oh, and that's actually the order. Okay, perfect. So, 3F, yes. The proposed ordinance amending Chapter 400, Article Miscellaneous Provisions, and I will I will have the chief summarize that, or Amy
I
summarize
can
that?
summarize it.
Okay, perfect.
Do the public hearing.
Yeah.
So as the board's aware, we've had an uptick of people standing on concrete medians of our various township roadways, and this is becoming a public safety issue because folks are getting dangerously close to ending up in a lane of traffic. So to deal with this, we would like to amend our traffic regulations to prohibit pedestrians from stopping, standing, sitting, loitering, or engaging in any activity on the medians of any roadway or highway in the township. So this just applies to the concrete medians. And we were trying to think of how many we have in the township, and we don't have a concrete number at this time, but we don't have a ton of them. But the biggest problem has been at Valley Vista and Atherton Street most recently. So I don't know if you want to add anything, Tyler?
No, that pretty much covers where we're at.
Okay. So if you want to open the public hearing?
Great, so I'm going to open the public hearing at this time. Are there any comments from the public, either in the room or joining us online, about this proposed ordinance? And I do want to add that the ordinance does not apply to people who are using the median strip as a safe stopping place when they're crossing the street. It says that specifically. Okay, not seeing any comments from the public, then I close the public hearing. Okay,
Do you have a motion to do that?
I'm sorry.
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Oh, great, thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the hearing is closed, thank you. And now we're going to hear any comments from members of the board concerning the ordinance.
No, you can
No,
have
we
just closed
closed the
the-
public hearing.
comment.
Yeah, 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 I almost made that same error. Sutan, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the most perfect thing, but I know just from personal experience, it's pretty distracting sometimes, watching individuals sort of like loiter in that area. And I know I've seen a lot of other people doing some rubbernecking, trying to figure out, what's happening. And so just, again, from a public safety standpoint, this seems reasonable.
Yeah. Any other comments?
One question is, like in that specific area, you plan on putting a sign? It's all cement. Do you have an idea how you would do that?
Yeah, we'll core the median out. So we'll
Oh.
drill out the concrete and then we'll place the sign in.
So relatively easy process.
Very easy.
Great, okay. Any other questions? Okay. I will entertain a motion and then a second.
I'll motion.
Okay. A second? Okay, great, thanks. And you know what, I'm sorry, I apologize, I couldn't get my computer up. Is that Susan joining us also?
Yes, Susan's
Okay.
online.
I thought that was Susan's voice. I know Pam's there. Okay. So seconded by Susan Hajewski. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. The ordinance is passed. Then we are moving on to the public safety report for the past month, and that's, again, Chief Jolly. So we are on page 4 for those of you who are following along.
All right, thank you very much, and I appreciate rearranging your schedule tonight to accommodate my
Not a
family
problem.
obligations, so thank you very much. Yeah, the April 26th Public Safety Report, our officers conducted 149 traffic stops. We wrote 36 citations, 2 parking tickets, and handled 16 criminal arrests. Bike Patrol rode 51 miles, did 57 business checks, handled 7 incidents, and 1 vacation home check. Under department notes, a 21-year-old male was arrested for disorderly conduct. The male, who was intoxicated and was reported missing by his friends, was located by officers sleeping in the back seat of a car that was parked in the owner of the vehicle's driveway. A 21-year-old male was arrested for possessing instruments of a crime, disorderly conduct, and criminal mischief. The male was involved in a dispute with his rental company. He decided to slash a chair in a common area with a knife, and his actions were caught on camera. A 22-year-old female was arrested for harassment. She had damaged food items that belonged to her roommate. The roommate verbally confronted her, and the female struck her roommate, which caused a minor injury. There was 1 arrest made for retail theft and 6 for driving under the influence. And our officers served 14 of the 31 warrants that they attempted, and we conducted 6 vacation home checks. We did not use force during any incidents in the month of April. Under community relations, Officer Kaufman assisted with an annual drug take-back event at Wegmans. That's an annual thing that we do in partnership with the DEA National Drug Take-Back Day. It's usually on April 25th of every year. We collected 30.4 pounds of unwanted medication at that event. A few of our officers attended a loss prevention meeting, which we organized. We got together a lot of the loss prevention workers here at Township stores. Just a good way to network between the different stores, as obviously crime becomes very transient, retail theft, things like that. So it's good for them to have a name with a face and a contact at the other stores. Sergeant Schaefer provided a presentation about the tactical response team at the Senior Life Center at the Nittany Mall. And Officer Tuskovich spoke with the 8th grade social studies classes at Park Forest Middle School about the Bill of Rights. We had a pretty busy training and department activity month. Our officers attended tactical response team training. Detective Salade attended training on human trafficking. She also attended training on interview and interrogation. Officer Finocchio attended an arson investigators conference. He has a specialty, a special niche that he's been trained in as far as arson investigation. Sergeant Schaefer and Sergeant Bardzell attended Intermediate Incident Command System, or ICS, for expanding incidents. Our officers all attended our firearms training. We did our yearly firearms training that's required for all police officers by the Municipal Police Officers Training and Education Committee. We also assisted with the blue-white game, our blue-white practice, I guess they referred to it as this year. And then our officers and officers from Ferguson Township collaborated and participated in a warrant night through MDJ McLean's office. A lot of times at the end of the year, we have some outstanding warrants, many of which sometimes are Penn State students, so we try to get those cleared up before they leave. So a total of 47 cases were addressed, and $5,522 was collected in unpaid fines as part of that effort. Many of our officers attended defensive tactics training. I kind of let the cat out of the bag earlier, but Officer Elijah Varzel was promoted to the rank of sergeant. He is currently on our midnight shift and is doing really good on that. Officer Snyder and Graff completed their required 2 days of training. Graff was deployed two separate vehicle sniffs. However, he did not indicate on either vehicle. And he also attended, well, I guess I should say Mitch too. He and Mitch also attended the Township Open House in local government. I attended the Emergency Services meeting, the Township Local Government Week Open House, and the Chiefs meeting. We got a nice letter from a victim of a crime that we had investigated. Specifically, Detective Salade had really helped this victim out quite a bit. I just wanted to mention the last couple lines of her email were very impactful. You went above and beyond for me, and I am so grateful. You made me feel supported and heard during one of the hardest times in my life. What you do truly matters so much and has made a huge difference in my life. I just thought that was very nice that she reached out to Detective Salade with that. Our crown jewel of community relations events, the Children's Safety Fair, is this coming Saturday, so May 16th, from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. We will be in the parking lot between Target and Kohl's once again this year. I just actually spoke with the state police helicopter pilot before I came down here, so they are confirmed that they're going to be there. The Alpha Fire Company is there with their ladder truck providing ladder rides for kids. We'll have a bunch of vehicles there. Graff will be there. If you've never been, it's a fantastic opportunity to meet your local first responders, to be able to talk to us in a really relaxed environment. And then there's all kinds of stuff, obviously, for the kids to do. Bounce houses, Home Depot always has a really neat some kind of building project that they can paint. So it's just it's a really, really, really fun day. It's probably the biggest community relations event I think that happens in Center County. We're really proud of it. It's the 24th year, so hopefully everybody can stop out. The weather looks like it's going to be fantastic, so it looks like we're going to have a great day. We're really looking forward to it. So just wanted to mention that, and hopefully everybody can stop out. Great. Lastly, just have our record list of calls for service. In the month of April, we handled 468 calls. That's up from the 455 that we handled in March. 85 of those were school checks, and 76 were health and safety EMSs. And that completes my report.
Great. Thank you so much. So that's Yes, that's it. So for the chief for tonight. Thank you so much for that report. You may
Thank
go
you.
on to family issues that are matters, events that
Thank
are
you
very
very much. I
important to you.
appreciate
Thank you very much. And I would like to vouch for that safety fair. It's not just for children. I've been on top of it's not hook and ladder anymore, it's called.
Yeah, the aerial ladder truck.
You're right,
Sure,
the
yeah.
hook and ladder was up at the top, yeah. So, great. If you have a kid, you can go up with them. Thank you so much, Chief. Thanks for all you do. And good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, track team tonight for his daughter. Okay. Yeah, we're going to go back to page 1 and continue with the agenda as written. So we've got an announcement, one from
Yes.
Amy, I guess, about the Savvy Citizen?
Yeah, so we are now using the Savvy Citizen app. You can actually find Savvy Citizen on the Google Play Store or the Apple Store under Savvy Citizen app. You'll put in your address and it will pull up Patton Township. The nice thing about this app is we will send notifications to you. We've sent out notifications about the safety fair. There are hyper-local notifications. There was some work being done on Strauss Avenue the other day that we sent out. It's really just a way for us to continue to push out information. It will also automatically send out weather alerts as well. So I got one about the freeze warning the other night, which as a gardener, that's helpful. But it'll be also nice when there are snowstorms and other events coming, you'll get that pushed out through our app. So please sign up for the app. It's another way for us to reach out to residents and make sure that you're aware of what's going on in the township.
Yeah, it's great. Anybody here on it already?
Well, I downloaded it. But
I downloaded it.
it.
I got it.
A while
yeah.
ago.
I saw the announcements.
Wait, I'm on
I'm just
Hold
waiting.
on a second.
I'm very excited. That's great.
Oh, you did it then.
Yeah, and you can also get announcements from surrounding municipalities. I think all but Harris Township is also connected on there.
No, we're the only one that's on.
Well, okay, well, whatever.
College Township is thinking about it.
Okay, it acknowledged the existence of
Yeah,
other
that's fine out
townships. That's
there.
what it
So
did.
you're the leader then.
Y'all got a
Sarah.
sign outside.
We are the leader, yeah.
Yeah, I did it. What's it
I
called?
highly recommend
Savvy
it.
Citizen.
Are there any additions to the posted agenda? These are items that are of de minimis in nature. Okay. Seeing none, we will go on to public comments. Anyone here or in our viewing audience have anything to report or ask about? Something that's not already on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we will then proceed to presentations of public hearings. We had 5, we now have 4 remaining proclamations to make, and then we have had the 1 public hearing, we've already had that. So we're on to proclamation designating May as Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. And Nalini Krishnakudi, who usually comes and makes a presentation, is not here, so she's asked Amy Farkas, our manager, to make some comments.
Yes, so I'm going to read her remarks. Good evening. My name is Nalini Krishnakudi, resident of State College and a State College Borough Council member. I am also one of the co-founders of the local Pan-APITA Circle community group, where APITA stands for Asian Pacific Islander Desi American. I want to express my thanks to Patton Township Board of Supervisors and all the staff here for issuing a proclamation to commemorate Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. May is the special month set aside to reflect on and celebrate the important role that Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders have played in our shared history. The Federal Asian Pacific American Council has picked the May 2026 Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month theme to be Power in Unity, Strengthening Communities Together. According to them, this year's theme highlights the importance of leveraging our collective power, telling our stories, and being bridge builders in our communities. The imagery of the bridge in this year's artwork inspires us to unite in our common causes. Bridges represent many values that are prevalent in AANHPI communities: innovation, resilience, hard work, connection, and a sense of belonging. This theme also invites us to honor the AANHPI leaders who inspire us to work collaboratively and embolden the next generation to build on their legacies. AANHPI Heritage Month is even more important this year as we celebrate an incredible milestone with America's 250th anniversary. As we celebrate American independence, let us recognize the contributions of all communities, including AANHPIs woven throughout American history, and call all our residents to engage, volunteer, and work to improve the experience for our communities. This year, on April 18th, in celebration of this special month, hundreds of county residents came together to celebrate the 4th annual APITA Fest in downtown State College in a town gown collaboration organized by Penn State APITA Caucus, Pan APITA Circle, Paul Robeson Cultural Center, Borough of State College, to elevate the APITA experience in Center County and begin sharing many hidden stories and contributions while building collaborative networks and increasing civic engagement. In addition to a joyful celebration of dance, music, culture, and food from both in-town and out-of-town contributors, there was also an opportunity to create art and share experiences. As part of APITA Fest, the Penn State Asian Pacific Islander Desi American Caucus, in conjunction with the Paul Robeson Cultural Center at Penn State University, Pan APITA Circle of Center County, and the Borough of State College, partnered with Center County Schools. Pre-K to grade 12 students were invited to reflect on cultural identity, historical memory, and their visions for the future of the United States through writing and creative expression. In honor of the 250th anniversary of the United States, the writing and artwork on display celebrates Asian and Pacific Islander cultural experiences, responding to the prompt, "What does a just, inclusive, and hopeful future look like to you?" Some of the resulting reflections hang in the Teens Create Gallery on the second floor of SCLO Library throughout the month of May, and the others will be displayed in State College Borough. Please make sure to visit these, as well as attend the Origami Moon Jar Art Activity organized by Pan APITA Circle members on May 31st from 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. in the SCLO Library for Children. On behalf of the Pan APITA Circle, I once again thank you for the proclamation and urge everyone in Patton Township's community to use this month to learn about and celebrate the many hidden stories about the local and national APITA community from the past and the present. This is our common history and part of the rich diversity in our community. Thank you.
Thank you for reading those remarks. And we're sorry that Ms. Krishnakati could not be with us. At this point, I'd like to, I'm going to ask for a motion to approve this proclamation, and then for a second. And if anybody is participating online, if you could say your name when you call out the motion or the second. And I apologize at not being able to see the screen very well. And if could people also in the room point out if somebody's raising their hand. Thank you. Okay, so I'm calling for a motion to approve this proclamation.
So moved, Pam Robb.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Robb. And a second?
I'll second you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hycheski. So it has been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. We have a proclamation designating May as Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. The next proclamation we will consider is proclaiming May 17th to 23rd as Public Works Week. And I've asked Ryan, our Public Services
Assistant Manager for Public Works.
Assistant Manager for Public Works. I knew I was getting that right. Sorry, Ron. If you could say a word or two of the importance of this proclamation.
Sure. Thank you, Board, for standing behind our Public Works Department. It means a lot to myself and staff as well. It's a great week. It highlights staff that normally don't get highlighted. Their job is to maintain consistency and to go unnoticed. That's the expectations of the public and the residents. So to be able to be upfront and be able to provide that highlighting to staff is very grateful. So thank you. I'm extremely proud of the Public Works Department. They do a great job. So thank you.
And thank you for that presentation. I know I asked you at the last minute, so that was heartfelt and very, really very lovely. And I would like to add my personal experience of having made the trip down Circleville Road several times this week, back and forth, and I could not have been prouder. I wish I had a little, emblem on the side of my car that said, "Yay, Patton Township," because I'd wave and they'd just like wave. It was seamless. They did a great job keeping it safe and moving traffic very quickly. So I'll accept a motion to approve this most deserved proclamation.
I'll make the motion.
Okay. Heidi Cruzy has made the motion. A second?
Second, Pam Ross.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it, and if you'll please pass this along to the crew. Yeah, we're very proud of them and very appreciative of all they do. We're on to proclamation of Emergency Medical Services Week, and at this point, I would like to, oh my gosh, thank you. I've got a visual. I would like to put my colleague and dear friend on a moment's notice if Pam Robb, who has served so diligently on the Public Safety Committee and knows the emergency services really in quite much detail, and I've never known her to be at a loss for words. Could you say one or two things about this proclamation, which is going to celebrate Emergency Medical Services Week, May 17th to the 23rd? Ms. Robb.
It's an honor to recognize the emergency management services, the men and women who tirelessly are on call 24/7 to administer emergency to at a drop of a hat. We owe so much to them. They go through so much. And just to get paid, we were talking about being reimbursed for some of the services and how hard it is. There is a constant battle to get paid just for, the service they provide. Also, we thank the partnership with our police. They work hand in hand with the emergency management services. They're on point with helping others at a drop of a notice, and we just are so grateful to have an outstanding emergency management service in our area. So as we vote on this proclamation, truly know that each and every individual is truly worthy of this proclamation and our gratitude.
Thank you, Ms. Robb. I knew that you would come through, and I apologize for not asking you earlier to pull that together, but I'll now seek a motion to accept this proclamation, and then I'll seek a second. Somebody want to? So moved. And a second?
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor of the proclamation to celebrate or establish Emergency Medical Services Week of May 17th through 25th, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. So we now have ourselves an Emergency Medical Services Week next week. And finally, we are asked to proclaim May as Bike Month. And since Susan isn't here, I expected maybe she would be here. I will speak to that from the perspective of having essentially grown up on a bicycle. And even when my mother said she would pick us up at school if it rained, somehow that never happened. And I remember several rides to and from school on my bike in a rain hat and book bag and so on and so forth. So it was my road to freedom and fun when I was growing up, and all through high school and college and years beyond. So, and as we all know, it's not only a great form of exercise, but it's an ecological way of getting from place to place. So I'd like a I'm going to ask for a motion to approve this proclamation.
Susan?
Okay, thank you, Susan, and a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Ms. Hycheski, Ms. Heidi.
Ms. Heidi.
I apologize.
No, it's fine.
I'm a little, so we are, this is a proclamation to declare May as Bike Month. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Thank you. Any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. We have our May is Bike Month proclamation. Okay, we are now going to, I'm moving right ahead, Public Works. And so we're back to our Public Works Assistant Manager.
So this week we opened bids for our paving projects. The first project is the East Hillside paving improvement project. That's paving from East Hillside Ave from Douglas Drive to Fairwood. We received one bid. That bid was substantially under budget and under the engineer's estimate. The bid was prepared by Big Rock Paving out of Williamsport, Vermont, Joy. I'm asking the board with a recommendation to approve that contract for paving East Hillside in the amount of $106,755.90. If you'd like to see my recommendation, it's in the packet.
Okay, great. Can I have a motion to approve this project going forward?
So moved.
And a second?
I mean, I'll second, but
Okay.
I have
Oh, yeah.
questions. Can I
Well,
ask
we-
questions?
Yeah, and I'll say now, are there questions? Does the board have questions? I forgot to ask that on the other
I just want to
proposals.
ask, because and then you're going to have another one here with the same company. Is that unusual to only have one person, one company respond to a bid?
So the bid was sent to 8 companies. Is it unusual? It's happened to me in the past on other projects, so it's not uncommon. It happens more often than you would think. There was another contractor that was going to bid. I'll just bring this up. There was another contractor that I met, discussed the project with, things like that. They didn't bid. They thought the bid letting was the day after the actual bid. So because they didn't have their bid in time, placed in time, they were disqualified or not accepted. So we would have had 2 bids. I would question one bidder if that bid came in substantially over the engineer's estimate, and then we would reflect it kind of, I would talk to you guys to see if it makes sense to award to a contractor whose bid was substantially higher than the engineer's estimate. But because it is quite a bit under, I would recommend award.
And they're fully compliant then, presumably.
They
But I
are.
looked up the company, and
Yep.
and they're not local. Do they have a local office or where their equipment is? Because it seems like there'd be a lot of cost to moving equipment, or do they rent it out locally?
The way that they perform the work, that's on them. But I have worked with them in the past on a different, previous projects. 4 projects I've worked with Big Rock Paving on. Those were concrete works, concrete sidewalk, ADA ramps, those all 4 projects. They did a great job. I have no reserve to this company. They do a great job, reputable company. Yeah.
I'm just asking because from a naive point of view, I would think that there's a lot of costs associated with a company that if they're not local, just because of the equipment that's probably required.
Yeah, so they've bid other work in the area and have been awarded those projects as well as the low bidder. There's a lot of factors that come into play as far as, yes, they're from Mount Joy or Montoursville is their closest office, Muncie, I believe. So yeah, that's 55 miles away. But there's a lot of factors that come into play as far as profits, what's the profit margins, overhead, things like that. We're just looking to see if they meet the minimum, if they're PennDOT pre-qualified, they are, to perform that work. They are. Not just paving, but as far as the concrete work on that project as well. And they meet all of those expectations and those minimum requirements to bid on a PennDOT job. They work many jobs, bridge decks, things like that. Their parent company is Ryland Construction, which is a pretty big company. And then they have a traffic control company as well. So,
Okay, well, thank you, just wanted
Sure.
the information.
yeah.
You always ask great questions. So, thank you for that answer. Any other discussion? If not, we've had the motion and the second, so I'll ask all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it, and you can go ahead on that project, give them the nod, and then you've got one other project to bring before us.
The second project that was opened on May 5th as well was the Valley Vista Drive Improvement Project. Again, a mill and overlay project from Atherton to Carrington. That came under budget as well. The engineer's estimate was
297.
368, I believe, right here. Their bid came in at $297,890.90. We do have a grant to perform part of this work as well, the DCED grant. So all those funds will be supplementing our funds with that grant. I provided my recommendation to the board in the packet as well. My recommendation is to award this project to Big Rock Paving as well.
Great. Any questions? We'll take them at this. Yes.
Was this the one that we talked about doing the work at night?
Yes.
So that was put in the contract, and that's the plan?
Yep, so the work would be done at night. There would be restrictions to allow the parking or access to Lowe's and Levine Furniture during those hours. Lowe's closes, I believe, at 9 or 10, and Levine closes at 8. So they would still have to maintain that access. Lowe's, or Sheets, because they have that other entrance, they could close off, the one on Valley Vista and still have access, but that access is still required, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good question. Okay. Any other questions, discussion? Then at this point, I'll take a motion. Or did we have a motion already?
We didn't have a motion.
Can I get a motion then, please?
I'll give you a motion
Thank you. And can somebody give me a second?
as is outlined in the agenda.
I'll second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, you've got your second project. Thank you for those presentations. We've got the Patton Township Parks and Bicycle Pedestrian Path Plan for 26 to 2020 to 2030. And Amy, are you going to give that?
I'll take this one.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so as you know, the Recreation Advisory Committee tends to update our parks plan on a 5-year rolling basis. As part of that, they do quite a survey that goes out. I think we sent it out to about 2,400 randomly selected households in the township, and it gives us a lot of good feedback on how our parks are used and also what things are used. And we found that our residents really enjoy using the parks and the bicycle pedestrian paths on a regular basis. And it shows a continual increase in park usage over time. So they've gone ahead and updated the 5-year plan, and includes recommendations on 5 projects of their highest importance, which will then be programmed in through our CIP process. I will also say one of the things that the committee's talked about that we'll be incorporating after this plan is adopted is we don't have a formalized parkland fee in lieu process. We do get it, so as Heidi's looking at me like, what is that? So part of development projects, there are parkland requirements. So you have to dedicate land that then becomes a park. Or you can give the option under Pennsylvania law to give us a fee in lieu, and that fee in lieu can be used to operate our parks or take care of developing our parks in the township. We don't right now have a standardized formula as to how that fee in lieu is calculated. Right now, it's negotiated between the township and the developer. Most other municipalities around us and elsewhere in the state, it's a set number. So it's, I think Harris Township, they're $3,500 per dwelling unit. So if you have 200 dwelling units, you multiply by 3,500, and that's the fee that you then pay to the township. So we're going to actually look at writing parkland fee in lieu regulations, because you have to put in a decent amount of regulations in your ordinance as to how the money will get used, how it's calculated. So that was one of the things that the Recreation Advisory Committee would like us to look at after this parks plan is adopted.
So this would be for building new developments that they
Yes.
would pay? Okay, and we don't collect that now?
We do. Right now, it's it's been in the past, my understanding, is a negotiated amount.
Per month, but you want a more standardized?
We want to,
standardized.
we want something that's standardized that we can add to our fee schedule, and then it can be updated as needed. But I know in Harris Township, they recently, their manager was telling me, they recently updated their fee. It used to be $2,250 per dwelling unit, and then they looked at actual land costs and realized that was really a low number. So they updated based on actual land costs to make it $3,500. I have a friend who's the manager in Doylestown Township, Bucks County, and theirs is only $1,800 per dwelling unit. So again, we want to have something that's more concrete, and that formula is put out there so developers understand what we're asking of them.
Great.
So is $20,000 per unit too much?
Yes.
Just asking.
I wish, because parks are expensive, but yeah, it's a
I
little
know.
high.
So it must make for easier planning also
Yes.
for our finance director over there.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Super, so that was it. I have a number of questions. I think I'll just go and talk with Susan.
Yeah, I would go direct to Susan.
Okay.
She is the expert.
Yeah, really nice report.
So if you're comfortable with the report, we'd like to get it adopted this evening.
Okay. Oh, but we can have a discussion first? Go ahead.
Yeah, because you said you just have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions too. But, so if we adopt this, that implies that we are accepting it.
Mm-hmm.
So do we need to have, if we have all these questions, should we delay that?
So the meat of the proposal is the 5 activities that they want us to pursue in no particular order, and those are the Scotia Road, Scotia Road shared use path, the Douglas Drive cul-de-sac extension or access to the Valley Vista Road, Grinnell Park, Phase 3, design and contract, Grays Woods, Phase 2, design and construction, sorry, and then Grinnell Road pump track, they want to pave that, put a hard surface on it. So, and then the other thing they want us to approve was what Amy just explained, work on our ordinance, adopt the ordinance so that we have a...
And if you want to ask some of your questions now, Ryan and I can certainly try to answer them this evening.
Yeah.
And whatever we can't answer, we can have Susan, you can reach out to Susan
You
directly.
have questions. You want to go first?
Well, my questions were mostly just about the reported stuff. I just wanted to note that I had a question about the how people use the different recreation units, because that show that like 25% of the people used it for walking, but were those exclusionary uses, or because people who walking are probably also going to use the open space, maybe the playgrounds? I was just wondering about how the survey was conducted. So, but I did note that pickleball, or I should say tennis, was used a little more than pickleball. Just thought I would make note of that. And there were other questions like that.
Just related to the survey itself.
The survey and the procedure, the process more, yeah. Since,
Heidi, what are your,
Okay, well, first off, just as a point, at the end, it has the name of the supervisors, and I know it's confusing with me with having the 2 names. I did that, because of the voting thing, but it flipped Miller and Cruzy.
Oh, okay.
So just as a, I noticed that. But, okay, so some of these questions maybe Ryan can answer. I looked at the survey and everything, and I think I was one of the people that participated in it. And when you combine, it seems like the paths are really important to people, and if you combine the dog walking, which really, they do it on path generally, that you could consider that together. So it seems like that's a driver. But the thing is, when I looked at the numbers of the costs for some of these things you had, like the one that you want to do, which I fully support, it's more that I'm a newbie and there's a lot of questions. I was shocked at the prices. You know, the paths aren't that long, that connector point. Is that because of right-of-way, paying for right-of-ways on that one?
Some of it is right-of-way, which we've already acquired the right-of-way except for the last piece of Scotia. We're working on that. But a lot of that is we have to actually build then an asphalt shared use path. They're all paved paths. And asphalt is very expensive. Asphalt is an oil-based product, so I'm sure you can imagine what it's doing right now. I will say Susan does an excellent job of going out and mining grant dollars for a lot of these projects. And she's been working cooperatively with Michelle because we apply for grant dollars, obviously, for our roads as well. And so they dip into some of the same pools. The DCED money that we got for Valley Vista is money we will likely try to tap into for some of these shared use paths. So yeah, the costs are astronomically expensive, but it's because of the nature of what we're doing, what we're constructing. There's nothing there now, so it has to be constructed from the ground up.
Because it's just that, because you don't have the heavy traffic on it, you know, like vehicles, and it's much smaller. I mean, I guess I don't know what road costs are for new roads either, so I'm ignorant of all of it, but I was just kind of shocked that just the engineering cost alone was like $150,000.
Yep.
I was just thinking, because so many people want so many connections, it seems like this is just like a tiny thing, and I think it's a great thing we're doing, but is there possibility sometimes of lowering standards, like potentially not, like having a gravel road sometimes as a stepping start, just to have access for people, things like that? Are you required by law?
We're not required by law to have them be paved. They can be a surface that, it has to be ADA accessible, and so you can do a surface which is called trail surface aggregate, which is like a rolled in stone surface. But we have historically always done the paved paths in Patton Township because our pathways get heavy usage. And I think long term, there's a lot of upfront cost, and I think Brian can back me up on this, but I think long term, the long term maintenance of those pathways is much less. We had the trail surface aggregate pathways in Harris Township, and they washed out every year. And it was a lot of maintenance on them, and we don't typically have that on our pathways. We have the snow removal on our pathways. But again, we have pathways that they are major paths that are connecting people to other parts of the region, and they used to commute on those pathways. So that's why we've always done the paved pathways over here.
The one path that's over, you have one that's not paved. I forget what it's called, but I know you have it on this list and you talk about it, so I can find it. Is it the connector one to Toff Trees? It's, you know, it starts at that.
Oh, the Bellefonte Central Rail Trail that goes from Cedar Cliff over?
Yeah, Cedar Cliff.
Yep.
That's not.
That's because we haven't gotten all pieces of that rail trail yet. We're still waiting to get the piece from Toff Trees, and then that will be completely upgraded once it's all ours.
Okay.
Yep.
But the thing that, I guess the bottom line on that one is that people can use it now. So it's back to, that seems to be an example of maybe more of the baby steps, probably because it already existed because of the rail bed. Maybe so maybe that makes it unique. I don't know. I think this community so much wants more bike paths, and I guess it's just so expensive. So maybe it's just the reality of it, so you can't do that much of it.
And that's the reason why we're going to look at the parkland fee in lieu money as well, because once we change and have more concrete regulations as to how we get parkland fee in lieu money, state law says if you have fee in lieu money and you have a parks plan, you can use that money anything that's included in your park plan. So a lot of these projects, we might be able to start getting some money to fund some of these projects.
Okay. And I won't ask too many more questions because I don't want to hold a meeting. But the other thing is, I know in the report they talk about the working with COG, and there's, is it Ann that does the bike path planning from a regional perspective? So presumably this all dovetails with that work. Right?
That's right. That would be part of the regional shared use paths or
Yeah.
regional bike network, yes.
So does that somewhat drive the priorities too, is just trying to fit it in with,
Usage is going to drive it. Like Scotia, with the development out at Grays Point, the connection is really warranted from Grays Point into the school now, the new Parkville Middle School, and then that connection into the main network, into the main system, like Devonshire, into the university. So that leads and pushes a lot of that need and the want from the residents. So that's why we're going after making that connection. There's other costs that inflate that. So our shared use paths, we like 12-foot wide. A lot of other municipalities don't have 12-foot wide bike paths. There's a reason why it's 12 foot. We've historically had 10 feet, but that still isn't really where we need to be. So a 12-foot path is going to be considerably more than an 8-foot path, right? It's 33% wider. It adds on to the cost. So it's not just asphalt. I mean, it's excavation, it's stone, it's labor, it's all of that. So it's all compounding at 33%.
and it's drainage too, I mean, it certainly.
Everything, yeah. And materials, yeah, we could do cheaper materials. TSA, Amy noted, trail surface aggregate. I've used TSA in the past, and it works. It's a really great material in certain cases, right? If it's on a slope, it's a maintenance headache. If it's on flat and you provide proper drainage, it's a great material. There's areas on our shared use path that we wouldn't consider, TSA. On the Bellefonte Rail Trail, yeah, that'd be a great application. I'd say temporarily, short term, yeah, it'd be a great opportunity for it. Long term, maybe not, especially if we want to plow it and things like that. I wouldn't suggest TSA at that point. So it's really providing the users what they're expecting and what they want and what they need and how it's used and how it's maintained. Is asphalt more? Absolutely. But you also get a lot less in a different area as far as maintenance and those sorts of items. So even asphalt isn't maintenance free, right? You still have to seal it. You still have to do that. But, there's an upfront cost to that as well.
Okay, well, I guess y'all have thought of all this, so,
Yeah, no, good questions.
Heidi,
You got more?
Susan would love to sit down with you, I'm sure, and kind of let you know and see where those numbers are coming from. I mean, she's not kind of like, she has a very detailed estimate with all of that she would love to sit down and kind of share that and discuss that with you. If you'd like, we can set that up.
I would. I've already signed up for the park tour that's coming next week.
Oh, perfect.
With Susan. And this is something else, again, I hate to tie up the meeting for it, but then I have a lot of questions on this too. But this seems like something I could just do one-on-one with Susan.
Yeah.
So,
Ask your questions.
excuse me?
Ask your questions. You are entitled to do so.
Yeah, I know, but,
I mean, you can, I would recommend that you talk to Susan. You'll probably get more information from Susan because she's so intimately connected with the survey questions. She's the one who designed
She
these, I think.
did that, yeah.
She's an engineer, I believe, by training, so you kind of speak the same language. So I just think it'd be really beneficial. And I'm not trying to, prevent the rest of the world from hearing this, but I think it is very detailed, and I've sat down with Susan long before, and, I should have suggested that to you on this, but that would be appropriate. But you're welcome to ask them if you want, but I think you'd probably get more out of it if you talk to her one-on-one. And I think what we're voting on are those five recommendations, and then the
Plan, yep.
recommendation to change the ordinance, tweak the ordinance.
The plan, yep.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, great. Okay, so with that, can I have a motion to accept the plan? Patton Township Parks and Bicycle Pedestrian Path Plan for 2026, 2030.
Without fixing just that
Yes,
one
I will
area.
have that fixed, yep.
Okay. So motion?
I'll motion
Oh,
it.
did you motion it? Okay, in a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the plan has been approved. We are, and now we are on to planning and zoning. We've got 2 items here. The first is report from the Planning Commission, and the second is a request, 2 requests actually for temporary use for special events.
So
we'll
we
go
have
for
Sharon Collins on Zoom who's going to give you the Planning Commission report. So go
Sounds
ahead,
great.
Sharon.
Okay, well, we just had those 2 temporary use requests at the last planning commission meeting. So TNT Fireworks, which is the American Promotional Events Inc., is doing business as TNT Fireworks, requests temporary use to conduct their fireworks sale, which they annually have at North Atherton Walmart. It requires a 20-foot by 40-foot tent set up in the parking lot in front of the Walmart store. And the temporary tent will be delivered to the site around June 12th of 26, and the sales will begin June 19th of 26, and will end on July 5th of 26. Sale hours will be from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Lighting is provided within the tent, and no additional exterior lighting is proposed. A porta potty is also being provided for the use of the TNT Fireworks personnel. This event has been held for several years at this location with no complaints received. And the Planning Commission reviewed the request at our meeting last week and recommends approval for the temporary use permit with the condition that a building permit is obtained from Central Region Code Administration for the tent. And then the second item was the North Atherton Farmers Market. They submitted a temporary use request to operate the farmers market from the premises of Home Depot, located in the C2 planned commercial district. The event is the same as has been conducted each year for the past 16 years in the same location. It is proposed that the market will be open every Saturday from May 16th through November 14th of this year, between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. The market will be situated in the Home Depot parking lot on the area highlighted in the site map included in your agenda packet. Tents ranging in size from 10 by 10s to approximately 10 by 20s, those are feet, will be arranged so as not to allow vehicles to circulate in the tent area, but the tents will not block any fire lanes. There is no additional parking proposed for the market, and the location of the site will not impede access patterns. As the event takes place during daylight hours, no additional lighting is proposed. This event has been held for several years at this location with no complaints received. And the Planning Commission reviewed the request last week, and we recommended the approval of the temporary use permits. If the board is comfortable with the recommendations, a motion can be made I think that's, yeah. We recommend that if you're comfortable with them, that you go ahead and approve them.
Great. Thank you so much, Sharon. Great.
I'll
So-
start with the first.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the temporary use request for TNT Fireworks with the condition that a building permit is obtained from the Center Region Code Administration for the tent.
You want to do the other one, too? Did you do the,
Do we have to do them separately
You
or
can do
together?
them both together.
you can do them together.
And a motion be made to approve the temporary use permit for North Atherton Farmers Market.
Great, so we've got 2 temporary use requests bundled into one motion. Can I have a second for that?
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it, so they've got their temporary use permits coming. On to...
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Have we ever combined motions like that for different requests?
I don't know that we had or not.
Is that like allowed?
It's the same type of category, so I think it's allowed. I don't think Betsy has a problem with us doing one motion for both temporary use requests.
No, the only issue would be if somebody appeals, it just isn't one.
Yeah, that's why.
That's why we would do land on.
Yeah.
And then we just...
Yeah, it's almost like you could put these on consent
Consent, yeah.
Maybe lump things in there.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
going to use that consent agenda as an example. Okay. Good question. Okay, so it has been approved. We're now moving on to administration items, 4 items, the first of which is the adopting the CATA local match share.
So our CATA share is going to increase next year slightly. It will be $123,869 for operating expenses and $13,217 for capital. We're currently paying $123,607 for operating and $13,217 for capital. And I will have CATA come later this summer to give an update on their activities.
Okay, so it's a very direct request, a slight increase in the funds needed. Can I have a motion to accept that? Or any questions?
Heidi has a
discussion?
question.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Surprise.
How is that determine the share? Is it based on population? I know lots of things are done, there's a formula.
Yeah, there's a CATA formula. Don't ask me to explain the CATA formula because it has changed over the years and I can't quite explain it. It used to be calculus, now it's just like advanced math that they do to get the formula. But it is based somewhat on mileage in your community and not so much on population. But we do have a decent amount of transit service out here. We're very fortunate.
Yeah, okay. All right, so this is a standard formula that's been agreed to. It's kind of a COG formula, right? That's all.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, any more questions? I think we've had a motion, I think we've had a
We
second.
don't have a motion or a second.
We have? Okay, thank you.
I'll make the motion.
Oh, well, whatever, we got to move, we got to move.
We do not have a.
That's all right.
Okay, Pam, I believe just made, Pam seconded or Pam? Okay.
Of course. We knew she'd come right
Thank you,
in.
Pam.
Okay. And did we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. So now, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. So CATA's got an additional amount of money coming from us.
You're welcome.
And now, the item that somebody in the audience has been waiting for, it is the data center ordinance development, and we have a specialist, Mr. Greg Garth, on loan from the Borough Planning Department, I understand.
No, Strategic Solutions.
Oh,
He's our planner from Strategic Solutions.
But thanks for the introduction.
yeah, thank you.
Good to see you all.
It is good to
Larry's
see
going to
you.
pull up my PowerPoint here.
Down, the data centers.
Yeah, so, can you hear me all right? Yeah, so Amy had asked if I could put together some basic information about data centers and how they could be regulated. And disclaimer, I'm not the expert on data centers, but I know enough to be dangerous, and I was just at the American Planning Association conference and learned some new things that I think are useful, so
Good.
give you a brief presentation. So, general definition for it, it's a physical facility, building, or group of buildings that primarily house computer or network systems, servers, appliances, and associated components related to digital data storage and operations. So, key thing that I have learned, and I'm not sure how much of this you're aware of, but there's really kind of 4 categories, and I added extra emphasis with the font size here, overkill, but you get the point. You've got very small facilities, which could be, just a few hundred, a few thousand square feet. Then you've got the enterprise facilities, which might be used by a corporation or a university, sort of a small to medium-sized facility. Then you've got the co-location facilities that are, 50,000 to over 500,000 square feet, and they usually are going to serve multiple tenants. And then the hyperscale are probably what a lot of people think of. They're the big ones that would serve, your cloud and artificial intelligence providers. And some of them will have multiple buildings in a campus type of array. So just some kind of general considerations, and you've probably heard, a lot of things about data centers and a lot of things that probably cause excitement, and some probably rightfully so, and some probably, there's a little bit of myth busting there, I'm sure. But really the function of it, whether it's to be used internally for maybe a corporation or university or something serving out external information. The water used for cooling, the energy used for powering the servers. The noise, you'll hear different things about the noise. A lot of times that, what I've heard, can relate to backup generation equipment if there's a power failure. Whether it's a principal land use on its own lot or an accessory to something else. And then as far as regulating, a lot of ordinances that I've seen, the community will regulate it as a conditional use, which, as you know, gives the governing body additional criteria and conditions that need to be met by the developers in order for approval. And then a general consideration as to permitted zoning districts. Of course, you want to look at commercial or industrial, typically. More industrial, I would say. Yeah, didn't know it was a reveal. How about that? So some more specifics: minimum lot size, where they used to be allowed, what kind of architectural features. With that said, you'll hear about a lot of buildings kind of being bleak, uninteresting buildings. Distance from residential properties, residential structures, zoning districts, what kind of surroundings, what kind of impacts that they might have. Considerations related to screening, buffering, things that might partially or fully obscure buildings or equipment. Maximum building height, lot coverage, building massing, and then circling back on noise. That's another consideration. Oh, and lighting. And decommissioning. Which I don't know a lot about, so don't ask me a lot of questions about decommissioning. And there's state legislation, I think, talking about preempting municipalities' ability to specify a whole lot about the decommissioning process anyway. So you're probably wondering if you can just ban them. No, you can't just ban them, but you can regulate them through zoning. Avoiding exclusionary zoning, which it's effectively a ban, so you don't want to do that. So some examples: Butler County, College Township. We'll get to that in a minute. So they allow them in the planned research and business park district. Although I believe their most recent amendment changed that from a by right use to a conditional use. So my mistake on the slide there. And a few other examples there that you can research. Probably find their examples online, or I can dig them up for you. So speaking of College Township, as you probably know, or Betsy may have told you before, Betsy Dupuy, the intermunicipal zoning agreement with College Township. So that allows the sharing of land uses, and correct me on this one if I'm wrong, Amy, but I think the main idea is that they have the land for the industrial uses more than we do. And we have more land and zoning appropriate for multifamily. I think that was kind of the main, give and take there. Because we're all part of the same regional comp plan, that's something that the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code allows, and which you have, which is great, because when a use like this comes in, there may be an opportunity to say, we don't have, sites here, but we still allow it through this intergovernmental agreement. So this helps you meet your fair share zoning requirements, meaning that you're providing for land uses, but it allows you to distribute that in a broader area. So as I mentioned earlier, College Township did have it as a by right use, but they did revise it in April. To make it a conditional use, which I don't know if they've had any interest from any data center developers, but it would be interesting to see if one does come to town, how that conditional use process works for them. So I did a little bit of an analysis to see kind of like where the potential might be in the township. You don't have a specific definition in the zoning ordinance, and you don't have data centers specifically listed. You have some similar uses, wholesale distribution and warehousing, and then your industrial district allows all the uses permitted in the light, I believe that's light industrial. Then it's allowed, a lot of industrial uses are allowed as accessory when you're subordinate to manufacturing or industrial uses, minimum lot size there, building height, screening, buffering requirements, all important considerations. Go ahead, Larry. And then the IRD, the light industrial, that again has similar uses like wholesale distribution warehouses, again, data centers not listed. Accessory uses, specific minimum lot size, again, maximum height 40 feet, screening, buffering requirements. So my point of putting this here is that there are a lot of things in the code that can be used to regulate different types of industrial uses. The thing that my boss always talks about is how a lot of communities try to solve every new use that comes into town, every new potential threat to the community, in terms of community character, things like that. A lot of communities try to address them each individually. But if you have good zoning and you have a long list of uses that are permitted and you have the proper controls like conditional use or special exception with the zoning hearing board, usually you can build off that. You may need to add a specific use like data center to the list, but you've got a good foundation that way. Okay. So continuing on my point here, you do have your conditional use criteria, which means that every use that is listed as conditional has to go to the Planning Commission and the Board of Supervisors for approval, and the developer has to meet all those conditions in order to be permitted. And the supervisors can also attach reasonable and related conditions to the use. There's a site plan requirement. Design has to consider compatibility with the surroundings. And then again, with the buffer yard requirements, the screening. Continuing on, so here's what it says verbatim in your code, that conditions can be related to these things like the location of the site, the traffic flow, the ingress, egress, screening. I won't read through all this, but you get the point. There's a fair amount of controls already in your ordinance. And then continuing on with specifically the landscaping section in the code related to the buffering requirements for adjacent to residential uses, which makes a lot of sense. Screening of storage from public right-of-way in residential districts. Landscaping plan that, again, the Planning Commission and Board of Supervisors get to have eyes on. The zoning officer will also check to make sure there's enough trees, enough shrubs, etc. And then access and traffic control, making it as safe as possible, with the indirect access, so you're not having, a bunch of driveways coming out onto a busy road. Circulation plan internal to the site and the surroundings, and then designated loading and unloading areas away from the flow of traffic. So, wrapping up here, kind of the key takeaways, I think, is that you can't ban land uses, but if you carefully regulate them through your zoning ordinance, you should be in good shape in most cases. You already have a lot in your zoning ordinance that would apply to data centers, the regulations of the commercial and industrial districts, the light industrial. A lot of those things that you already have in there, understanding this is a different use, it's similar to maybe a larger distribution center and a warehouse. And in terms of traffic generation after construction, it's not like a distribution center, of course, where you have that impact on a daily basis. So I will certainly defer to that Betsy on this question about the fair share requirements and our agreement with College Township. But I think again that this should allow you, should a data center be looking to site in the area, it should allow you to them to look at College Township, and that would mean we're not zoning it out.
Yeah.
And then so if there's any reason that we would need to regulate them separately, I would certainly advocate a conditional use in the industrial district, and then could also have an amendment to include specific conditions as appropriate. With that said, I think the key piece of this is that shared land use agreement and our regional comp plan. So I think we've got great tools in place. I don't know that we need to specifically pass our own ordinance at this point. So open it up for questions or comments.
Of course I have questions, but does anybody else? Start.
I think that
Oh, and I did not use AI to create this presentation. I'm old school. I typed it out myself.
Boo.
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
Boo. Yeah. Okay, but you know what AI is, so it can't be that old. Okay. But I bet the shared use agreement, why don't you start with that, because I think
Yeah,
we could all use a refresher.
so
Mike,
does
Heidi.
Patton Township, it has light industrial in Patton Township? And so a data center could potentially fit in the category of a light industrial? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, again, the definition, we don't have a definition of it.
Right.
So, you know, it,
Potentially.
Depending on the size, probably. Or
that is an important consideration because obviously we don't have huge amounts of industrial land. So the minimum lot size would dictate a lot.
So we wouldn't get one of the really big hyper-scale ones because we don't
They
have
need
the
a lot of land. I didn't include it, I probably should have included it. They require a lot. I don't remember the number and I'm not gonna try to guess, but
And
they require a lot of land,
They
but
need the power and they need the distribution
yeah.
infrastructure to support it. And I don't know if we have it.
We don't have the best power grid in the center region. The managers were talking about this yesterday, that we don't know how ripe we are for a data center just based on the fact that our power grid isn't necessarily the best here. Also, they require a lot of water, so they would have to be in the water service area. A lot of our land that's still vacant is not in the water service area, and we don't have a lot of vacant land to begin with. The shared use, the intergovernmental zoning agreement that was referenced, that's from 2005. And that, we basically said to College Township, we don't have a lot of industrial land left. And they said, we don't have a lot of multifamily zoning left. So we've gotten, and the report looks at, it needs to be updated. I read it today. I don't think it's ever been updated the way it's supposed to be, but with doing the comp plan, it needs to be updated again to look at, to make sure we have enough land between the two of us to take care of these two uses. But I think from reading that, and I think Betsy agrees, that we're kind of covered on data centers because if somebody comes in, we would say, oh, College Township has that use for us in their industrial zoning. Because College Township has a lot of land in their industrial zoning district, a lot of vacant land, especially that Dale Summit area.
And do they have the power grid there that supports it? Or is yours?
None of us have the power grid in the center region.
So that would be a reason that we wouldn't be attracted to them.
Yeah, and honestly, data centers have been getting so much press recently, and it's been the hot topic. I know you were at PSATs, at all the municipal conferences, but the state has really rolled back a lot of the governor wanted to be gung-ho, wanted to be the leader in data centers, and he started to roll back a little bit because I think he's starting to realize we don't really have the infrastructure that everybody thought we had for these. Places around Philadelphia, one of the Marion townships, I think it was Upper Marion, they've already had 5 data center requests come through their office. But they have fiber, and they have a power grid, and they have water, and they sort of have a lot of the things we don't really have up here.
Interesting. Just in terms of land, so Google says about the size of 7 football fields. So we're talking about one of the mega data centers, and that's what people are worried about and protesting all up in arms about. So
Yeah, from what I learned at APA, it looks like, you know, a lot of them are going to California, obviously, Nevada, Utah, even southern Wyoming. Watched the presentation with the gentleman who was talking about them.
But there has been a lot in Pennsylvania itself, and I think part of that is because right now we have excess power. But apparently, we have a regional agreement, and so a lot of our power ends up going to like Maryland and some other states. I mean, this is what we just learned from PSATs, is what I recall. But power is a big driver, and the distribution is a big driver. But it sounds like Center County is not probably an appealing place. We don't have any in Center County now, do we?
Yeah, we don't have any.
Plans.
I mean, I would say that, I wouldn't say we're, 100% not attractive. I would say that some of these places I heard at PSATs and others that they put in packaged nuclear power plants to power them. So, I mean, we have one nuclear power plant right now in State College. I don't know that we're going to get others.
So I guess at this point, anybody online have a question?
Pam has a
Oh,
question.
Pam, gotcha. Thanks, Pam. Thanks for waving.
Thank you. Amy, you're right on point with some of the questions that we got at the PSAC conference. I'm not sure, but is College, Township, or the Bureau working on their zoning? And if so, are we shared with them in the process of whatever zoning they're coming up with?
Yeah, so they just updated their zoning to allow data centers as a conditional use in their rural residential, I think it's rural residential, and their industrial zoning district. And the industrial zoning district is the piece that plays with us. And Betsy and I talked about it, and I talked with Adam Brumbaugh, the College Township manager, and we all agree that that intermunicipal zoning agreement would cover us.
Does that answer your?
Thank you.
Great, okay. Any other questions?
So the consensus is we don't need to do anything right now, Patton Township.
Yeah, I'm looking at Betsy. I would say that's probably the consensus right now, other than we need to update that
They
agreement.
were never adopted. But through the Finance Committee, the COG finance staff and the finance directors were instructed to go through and create a fund balance policy. It was a big lift because the fund balances at COG are not a one-size-fits-all for a fund balance policy.
Yeah.
You can't just say, we're gonna have this much in the fund balances, because depending on the use of those fund balances, would depend on how much of a balance you would need. So, we were instructed to do that. We went through and we created a fund balance policy to ensure that the Center Region COG manages its finance resources effectively and efficiently. One of the issues, I think everybody, maybe Heidi doesn't know this, but everybody else knows this. One of the main complaints that I often had was that we would give COG funds. We would pay them our municipal shares, and they would sit in the bank over there and they wouldn't spend them. And we could really use them here. So why should we give COG money that they can invest when we could keep it here and we can invest it? So that was a major driver to come up with the fund balance policy. So, in addition, this approach assures compliance with applicable government accounting standards, boards, and government or generally accepted accounting principles and GFOA regulations. So basically, this fund balance policy, which is, I don't know how many pages it came out to, 60, somewhere around there. Just basically, most of the fund balances will have a 30-day fund balance. Enough money in their accounts to pay their bills for 30 days. The reason for that is that they are now billing us on a monthly basis. They have a pretty good cash flow from the municipalities, so they really only need 30 days to pay their bills. That's in the operational fund balances. The capital fund balances, they're going to have a little bit more, of course, because we're putting away money over the years to pay for a new fire apparatus, which would take us 20 years to build that up. So that's going to go way up, and then we're going to buy a big piece of equipment, and it's going to come back down, and it's going to do that. And then the enterprise funds, we don't really have any control over those fund balances, other than to say, the code fund balance is maybe a little bit too high, and we have to adjust the factor as how much they're charging. So, with that said, we then forwarded the fund balance policy to the executive committee to send out to the individual municipalities for any comments that we might have. I have been involved in this fund balance policy. This has been going on now through the finance directors. It's been going on for over 2 years, almost 3 years, generating this fund balance policy. I don't have any comments on the fund balance policy. I think the policy is sufficient. My only comment was, and I made this comment in the finance committee meeting, was that I say we implement this policy and let's see what happens. We can always make tweaks to the policy if something doesn't work out. But we're not going to know how good of a policy it is until we implement it. When we implement the policy, the big question is going to be, how much is it going to cost? Because we have some fund balances that are over the 30 days. We have some fund balances that are under the 30 days. So it looks like that, and I'm not gonna show this. I'm gonna mention it. It's in with the finance committee information, but overall, it's going to cost the townships in total. It's going to cost the townships little under $500,000 for all the municipalities.
Per year? Per year?
Not per year, in
Well, this
total.
is
Just to
5
set it up.
years They're looking at, right?
Yeah.
Over 5 years, and it's,
If it's over 5 years, it's going to be $100,000 a year.
Thank you. Okay,
Okay?
that's, I just,
So
I missed that 5 years.
the amount to implement the policy is just under $500,000. The question that will come up after we implement the policy is, how do we want to roll out the policy? For instance, do we want to pay that $500,000 in 1 year? No. Do we want to pay it in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? For instance, if we pay it in 3 years, that would be $165,000 a year, of which Patton Township's portion of it would be $36,500 per year. So that, just to give you an idea, that's where most of my comments are going to come in. However, that doesn't preclude us from implementing the policy. I think my recommendation is that we implement the policy, and I do not have any comments, but I would be more than happy to answer any questions anybody might have on the policy.
but the one that they rolled out as a tentative was 5 years.
Yes.
So that's most
And we're
likely
only
gonna go.
guessing, right. 5 years, the 5 years, it's going to be, if we roll it out over 5 years,
4,000 or something.
then our amount that we're going to pay is $21,000. But these numbers, the reason why I'm not going to show these numbers is these numbers are estimates. Until the audit is done at the COG level, we don't know what the year-end fund balances were.
And isn't it fair, Larry, that there's different buckets of money, and there's only types of money? Some of these are all restricted and all that. You refer to that
That's correct.
some, but we're only talking about the money that you have control over, which is,
We're only talking about
It's
the
a-
money that we contribute to.
It's, what is it, about a quarter or 30% of the total?
All the funds?
For the amount that we can play with? What's approximately the percent?
I don't know that off the top of
Okay.
my head. But also the other issues you have are different funds have different, the fire fund doesn't have Half Moon and Harris. It's each fund has different municipalities that participate in those funds and contribute to those funds. Everybody doesn't contribute to every fund at the same level. So, but at this point in time, my recommendation is that we send a fund balance policy to the general forum for approval by all the municipalities. And as I said, I don't have any comments on the fund balance policy. I don't know if, I think all of yours have been answered, Heidi.
Yeah, I don't have any, and that's what they're asking for. This is the time they're asking for
This is
comments.
just asking for comments.
So that then they can be voted on by the general forum later in May.
So if anybody has any comments or has any questions, I'll be more than happy to address those.
So I'm trying to understand how we assess midstream whether we continue the course or not. Going through a budget is a tremendous amount of energy, time, and we're still waiting for them to assess the fund balance from last year's budget. Did I just hear you say that?
Not last year's budget. We're waiting for them in the audit to give us the accurate amounts for last year's fund balance at December 31st.
Okay. But supposing we decide on the 3-year, we roll it out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That discussion comes after you approve the fund balance policy. Because let's say you say, no, the fund balance policy doesn't work, we want to have 60 days. That changes all those numbers.
Yeah.
You have to approve the fund balance policy, and then the fund balance policy gets implemented, and the finance department at COG will then go through and do the analysis of all the fund balances when they get the audit complete, which should be complete sometime within the next, few weeks to a month. And then we'll have a firm number that we can talk about how much it would cost to implement it and how we will implement it.
And then I had a question about enterprise fund
Yes.
balance. Is that like code?
Yes. So enterprise fund balance is like, it's like running a normal business. They're making money, they're receiving money from builders and renters and et cetera, and they're spending that money.
And they're essentially self-financed.
They're self-financed.
Do we have any other enterprise fund balance agencies in COG?
So I would consider Poles operating an enterprise fund.
What was that?
Poles, aquatics.
Oh, pools.
operating-
Sorry, I heard poles.
They
It's
collect-
I heard poles. Is that?
Well, that's just my
Pools.
Pittsburgh
Gotcha.
accent, I'm sorry.
Oh, no. It's, yeah.
We say couch and we say Danton.
Did you say tomato or tomato?
We say tomato.
Okay.
But anyways, so aquatics, they're the only time in the 11 years that I've been here that we've had to put any money towards towards aquatics operating was during COVID.
Yep.
Other than that, they've been self-funded.
Okay, what was the exception?
When COVID.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, thank you.
I don't think there's anything else. I think we contribute to everything else.
Except for recycling.
Recycling,
The
yeah.
refuse and recycling is-
Refuge and recycling is also one.
We don't contribute
Yeah,
to that.
okay, gotcha. Yeah, okay. Thank you, that makes sense. Okay, did you have other questions?
Well, I don't have a question, it's more just because I've been in my newbie in the finance committee and trying to look at the impact. I don't think that this is gonna be oh, we're gonna do a little experiment and then we're gonna stop it. I think
No.
all the finance, the people,
Finance directors.
Directors, that's the word I was,
Okay.
they all support the concept, and they've all been working on this with COG.
Yeah.
COG wants it, this all provides clarity for everybody. And so it's there's a short-term pain, which will be less painful if it's over 5 years and 3 years.
Right.
You know, 5's a little bit arbitrary, but that seems like that's sort of a sweet spot, because you want to
Yeah.
eventually get it all down. There's a bunch of moving parts, and like Larry was asking some questions about the budget that hadn't been audited yet, in terms of some of the numbers there. And they had put some numbers in a category, said, well, we're not sure if that's the right category, maybe it belongs over here. Well, it was like we're throwing around 100,000 here and 100,000 there, they all add up. So that's why the end result of how much needs to be put in these fund balances, truly, we're not sure. And which way, because I think COG tends to be kind of conservative, so I'm guessing it might be lower.
It might be lower, yeah.
Not by a lot,
I'm
but
thinking,
by something.
yeah, that's true.
But yeah, but I think it's all going to go forward. I think what Larry's saying is there's probably going to be a lot of reworking along the way. We're going to learn stuff and, do stuff differently. And I think the way it's going to be rolled out, and this is kind of a question for Larry, to see if I know this right, is the finance planning process for next year starts soon. With the finance committee, it's going to start rolling out. And this is one reason they want this approved, so that for the next year's budget, they can start the implementation for next year, the baby steps of that. And they'll try to probably do the easiest things first. But that's what the finance committee itself is going to grapple with. And all the finance directors go to those meetings, and you guys have your own meeting too, right?
Yes.
So we'll do all that with their expertise. And probably we'll be tweaking along the way. That's the way I think it's gonna be.
There's definitely, as with any policy, there's things that pop up and you say, well, this is not really working the best way in this situation, so we might, but all those tweaks will come to the finance committee to make the change to the policy.
And our fund balance is different. You try to keep 3 months, ideally 3 months in our fund balance.
Because ours is different.
Yep.
So at the end of the year, in December 31st, we're not getting our funds coming in on a regular basis every month. We're getting 1/12 of our revenue. We get the majority of our revenue between March 1st and April 30th. So our fund balance, if you took a picture of our fund balance today, it's much more than 3 months.
Awesome. Yeah.
Okay? But if you took a picture of it on December 31st, you want it to be 2 to 3 months because you got to get through January 1st to March 1st.
Okay. And when we're referring about sort of capital B, fund balance, is that usually referring to the annual fund balance when a budget is set up? Or is it like capital?
No,
Is it
what it's referring to is a fund balance that's used to purchase capital,
okay,
to purchase vehicles or, okay?
so it's instantaneous, so you refer to it all the time. I mean, we could say, what is our fund balance at this point in time?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And so once this is implemented, we could go to any one of the agencies and say, in perfect world, tell us your fund balance right now. And, okay. And just like ours
And they
fluctuates.
can give us they could give us a fund balance at that time, but
Okay,
they're also gonna review the fund balances on a regular basis.
that's right. And that's, okay, that was my big
Okay,
question.
so there's going to be a process that they review the fund balances to determine, is this fund balance, do we have 45 days in this fund balance? So instead of 30,
Yep.
and what do we do with the extra money?
And my big question in all this is how do the electeds keep track of that? How, is there a check and balance?
It will be
In
reviewed
place.
by your representative on the finance committee.
Okay, okay, so they would maybe hear quarterly, because we don't want to find out at the end of the year that it's not working, the fund balance.
No, I would think during the budget process, they will also look at those fund balances as
They will
well.
definitely look at those fund
January,
balances.
June, and November.
Oh, there you go,
Right,
okay. That's what I was
And
concerned about.
honestly, there'll be more clarity of what's going on, not less.
Yes.
Once this is implemented.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's cool.
Sutan has a question.
yes, Susan.
I'm trying to catch up. Okay, so with this change, we're looking at fund balances. There's a lot of different entities or areas, let's say. Each have a different fund balance. What we're saying is we're equalizing the amount of, sorry, let me get my thoughts in order. Each unit has 30 days. We want them to have 30 days worth of money to pay for things in their fund balance.
To pay their bills.
To pay their bills in the bank. But they're not going to have the same amount of fund balance.
That's correct. Because, for instance, parks will have a lot different number than the
Planning.
planning, yeah, or even the active adult center. You know, that's gonna have a small fund balance, 30 days of their expenditures, it's much smaller than 30 days of parks operating expenditures.
It's based
So,
on
yeah.
your budget.
But but they'll still have 30 days worth of expenditures in their bank so that they can pay all their people, all their expenses for the next 30 days.
And so this would then be calculated at the start, before the start of the year. Like they would know like each month how
Yeah.
much money,
Well, we'll look at it 3 times a year.
but it could be variable for how much
Yeah, of course.
for each month
Of course.
they would need in
It could
that.
go up and down. The amount could go up and down. Just like the amount that we pay them every year goes up. But it
Never
could
goes
go
down.
up and down. It never goes down.
Never goes down.
But, you know, when we do the budget for COG, that's telling us how much their expenditures are for the year. Okay? And all they do is take those expenditures and divide it by 12
12.
and bill us.
Okay, and so then again, we would be retaining more of the money,
More of our own,
our own money,
yeah.
but how much we're billed, well, we'd still get billed every month, but that bill will be variable based on whatever their budgetary needs are for that particular month.
Correct.
Okay, I understand now.
The monthly billing that they just switched to, last year?
Yeah, last
Has been a huge help
Yeah,
because
it
we
used
would.
to be
Quarterly, and we would get this huge bill every quarter, and as Larry
It's $1
said,
million, or say $850,000 every quarter or something like that.
and as Larry mentioned, the beginning of the year, we are on fumes around here, so we would look at that bill and due January 1st, and we'd be like, ha. We don't know what's gonna happen. Now that it's monthly, it smooths out our expenditures as well.
But as far as us retaining, so yeah, this all makes,
It keeps 2/3 of that, you know, we only pay, instead of paying the quarterly amount, 3-month a month on January 1st. We only pay a 1-month a month on January 1st. We get to keep the 2/3 that we would have given COG, and they would invest in it. We,
Okay, that makes sense. But as far as like any interest, we wouldn't really benefit that much from like keeping hold of that money
we get interest.
because, okay.
We do get interest. It is increased the amount of interest that we get. Of course, so as the interest rates being up has helped.
Okay. Got it. Caught up.
Okay? We invest every dollar that we have in our bank accounts.
Yep.
So every night, the bank goes through and pulls all the money together into one account, invests it overnight, and then in the morning sends it back out to all the different accounts again. It's done automatically.
That's cool. Is that the first thing you look at when you get up in the morning?
I do look at the bank account every morning when I come in, yes.
That's cool. It's exciting. Okay. Oh.
Can they do that for me?
So do we have any comments that you want to send back on the COG fund balance policy?
So I think they've all been handled. Mine was that there's a regular
And the staff,
accounting
it
throughout
sounds
the year.
like that Larry representing the Patton Township staff, that you don't have any comments.
No, I have no comments.
So,
All my comments have been addressed time over and over time.
Okay.
so I don't know
So
if Pam or-
Susan or Pam, do you have any comments? Okay.
No?
Should we send something out to COG saying specifically we don't have any comments so they know that?
Yeah, I will send that to them.
Okay, and
We'll do
we can
that.
report that tomorrow.
We definitely will.
I'll
report
email
back.
Ben and Scott
Yeah,
before I
just to make
leave
it
today.
official.
I don't know, I didn't see in the finance committee agenda, I didn't see any comments from anybody.
Oh, okay.
And I wouldn't expect there's gonna be,
College Township had comments,
did they?
apparently.
I didn't see them. They
What
didn't
were
have
their
them
comments?
attached.
I haven't seen them, but I heard they were the ones who had comments.
Did you see any comments
No,
attached?
I didn't see any.
I didn't
was
see the
looking at
comments
stuff.
attached.
Maybe it's just not put in the agenda.
It hasn't been attached to the agenda. Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
My head hurts.
I know. Kudos again.
I appreciate y'all who were able to
Yeah,
do this
Kimberly.
work.
I mean, even the summary was a work of great detail. You read the summary first.
I read things, I don't understand things, so.
It was well done, right? I could understand it.
Originally, they didn't have a summary, so that was a push from
Yeah.
the finance committee to get the summary in there.
Yeah.
That was useful,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
because we
Okay.
figure that people don't mostly want to read it. So, okay.
So, we're not sending back any, well, you know what we've talked about.
Yep.
You need to share anything. Okay. I think now we are going on to the proposed merger of the Lucy, L-U-C-I, and the CAS committee, and then the formation of the Lucy, L-U-S-I. So, we have, I can actually take this because I sat in on it a little bit. I missed the last meeting, but I've been to several. So over several meetings, the LUCI and CAS committees have met together and have had a number of discussions on should we essentially merge, and if so, what should we end up doing, and are there any tasks that can be put into smaller cells? In other words, a task that doesn't occur every month or every year and so on, and how are we going to work that? So the main challenge, I think, at this point is deciding what the, I'm going to call them the, the subcommittees or working groups should do. And the reason I say that is because the subcommittees will not, in a typical sense, a subcommittee would be a smaller group of everybody on that particular committee, right? And there's 6 people on a committee, 6 voting members on each committee. I think everybody's on that. But these subcommittees, or working groups, I think is a better name, would be perhaps comprised of additional people who don't sit on the LUCI, L-U-S-I committee. And an example of that would be the refuse and recycling contract development. When I served on the CAS committee, which at the time I served had in its purview the refuse and recycling contract, as well as the development of the capital of the CAP, which is the Climate Action and Adaptation Plan. We spent maybe 2 years, very intense years, working on the CAP, and then and then we worked on other things, but this past year, we spent almost the entire year working on the refuse and recycling contract, which is not, I'm trying to think, it's a negotiation, it's not I think there's words that we have to use for it. Anyway, suffice it to say that, it's bidding, not negotiating. But it's very detailed, and it was actually fascinating, and it's especially important because this past year, prices had risen substantially, and that was even before we had the complexities and challenges that have been put upon us by events that have occurred at the national and international level that have increased tariffs and expenses and so on. Okay, so, and then the other items that are listed under, and I'm looking at the second page, that may have to be then sort of delegated to or given to this subcommittee or working group are the regional, any comprehension plan updates, if there are any updates for the Climate Action Adaptation Plan, and then when we're doing the Act 537 sewage planning, sewage facilities planning. So with that as an overview, and I guess, let me see. Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to just have everybody think about, because I know that each year then when we have a reorganization, we assign various board members to various COG committees, and there are, by my count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right now, there are 10, but they're not all functioning because some of them are going to collapse or disappear or whatever, be subsumed. Also, currently we have the LUCI, L-U-C-I, and the CAS, the Climate Action Sustainability Committee, and that's going to merge into one. So we will be faced with, coming years, all of us being assigned one committee, but then at some point in the year, we may ask for this working group that actually may last a whole year, or half a year, whatever. So in a sense, it's like having X number of committees, which we're all used to, but that some years we may have X plus 1 committee. And so there would just be another person on the board who would be slotted into a committee, if that makes sense. But really, it will be fewer committee assignments than what we have now. So, so does anybody have any questions or
I just want to add, because I went for Betsy on this last meeting, so they talked about it again. Yes, I didn't have a chance to really tell you anything about that. And there's something else I'll tell you when we talk about committee reports. But the bottom line was, after some discussions, because there were some people still apparently a little reluctant, or at least one person that was, they ended up, yes, and then bring it to the general forum. Because there was some discussion of possibly having it go back to the townships first, and then that was stopped. But I just want to let you know.
Okay, well, this is sort of going back to the townships, but not for a major rewrite, but just for questions.
Yeah,
Because they
this
did
is-
specifically
Exactly,
ask
this is just for, kind of FYI, because it's going to come in front of the
Yeah.
general forum, right?
Yeah.
Right, and so we don't have to take a vote on this, but they wanted to make sure
You're aware of it.
that we're aware of it and we're not taken by surprise.
You just got the mom look.
Is that something I was supposed to hear?
No,
Okay.
I just have the urge to say point of order. Like this whole meeting, I've just had the urge to say that.
Say what?
Point of order.
One word?
Point of order.
Oh,
But I'm not saying it.
has it been a point of order issue?
No.
He just wants to say it.
You just have
There's
that-
like this obsession right now. I don't know why.
Okay.
That's it.
You've said it, good.
I feel like you've derailed the train a little bit there, Susan.
That's kind of what I needed, okay. Okay,
Sutan likes to derail things.
so is anybody like traumatized by this change of how things are being done? Sometimes change is hard. I don't think this is a hard change, except we're going to call Lucy, whatever. They did actually have, whoever printed this up by mistake, had the order incorrect, so it's draft duties for the merged land use. You have to say land use, sustainability, and infrastructure, so it can come out Lucy. Otherwise, it would be Lewis, or Luis, whatever. Anyway. Okay. So no comments, questions, opinions, points of order, anything like that? Okay. So we're on to the consent agenda. And to make it quick and easy, does anybody want to move that we accept the consent agenda?
Heidi has a question.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know, this is going to seem ridiculously picky to you.
well, we can pull an item from the consent agenda.
It's the
That's
minutes from last time. There's just
Okay.
one thing about it, if you read it, I think there was a misrepresentation. And I had it before, and it was something that it was just,
You know what? Can we do this, or should
Yeah,
we
that's
just pull
fine.
it?
We can do this.
Okay.
is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I don't even know what page this is because I pulled it out of something. But it was,
I
I
can't
had
look it up.
asked a question, and they said something about this, asked if this means that this is about the Little Lion Drive, changing it from, where we were moving the traffic signal from the traffic flow. And I asked a question, there will not be access to the parking lot to the school by Little Lion Drive. I don't think that was my question. I was really asking about the Circleville
The park. Okay.
lots. I know it's tiny, but it just sort of changed.
Yeah,
my mind.
Luana can fix that tomorrow.
Okay, that's
Yep.
it.
Thank you. Thank you for that question. And now I'll call for any motion to approve the consent agenda. Quick.
So move.
Okay. And a second.
Second.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. So we're moving on to, is it the manager's report? Is it the manager's report?
It is the manager's report.
It is. Oh, my gosh.
I feel like I'm going to disappoint you guys and not be that exciting. Okay, so just a couple of things. You have my report in front of you. I have a couple of things just to talk about, and two of them are not actually in my report. But the first is, I emailed all of you yesterday to let you know that we are getting a $1.5 million federal transportation set-aside grant for Vira Boulevard. That stretch of road, it is from the Patton-Ferguson line to Oakwood Avenue, has needed to be done for 20 years now. The total project cost is $1.76 million, so we are ecstatic to be getting this money, and I think this project will probably get done either next year or in 28. Yeah, 28. So we're ecstatic about that. Number two, Cindy Hahn will be retiring at the end of this month as the CNET Executive Director. And I just want to give a shout out to Cindy. She's been tremendous to work with all these years. And then she's done 2 cable franchise agreements with us, which has been amazing.
Excuse me, can I take a break? I know this is.
Yes.
Cindy.
Can we, before our solicitor leaves, can I request a quick break and I had a question?
Yes, that's fine. CNET, we'll be right back.
And we'll be right back, folks.
we adjourn.
And I apologize for that.
Okay, are we good? We're back.
We're back, thank you.
We're back.
Quick break.
Okay, so as I was saying, Ms. Cindy Hahn. Okay.
Start over again.
Okay, as I was saying, Ms. Cindy Hahn, the executive director of CNET, is retiring at the end of this month. She's been the executive director for 20 years. She's been through 2 cable franchises with me, which is like going through 2 great world wars because the cable franchises are not fun to do. So I want to give a huge shout out to Cindy. We will miss her. But I also want to give a huge shout out to Stephanie Yeager, who's sitting in the back of our room, who is taking over as the executive director of CNET. She's been the operations manager and has had various other positions throughout her 24-year-long tenure at CNET. So I'm super excited because Stephanie knows her stuff. So
Congratulations.
All right.
That's so exciting.
Congrats. Can I do the tribute to Cindy right now?
yes.
It's so hard to say goodbye.
She will love that you're singing to her.
Someone needs to talk now.
Okay.
To what we had. Okay.
Okay, good, we're good. Okay, and then the other thing I wanted to highlight, and this is in my manager's report, so I am heading to my manager's conference on Sunday, which is out in Pittsburgh. Last night, if you were at the Penn State reception, they highlighted the Local Government Expo and the work we've been doing with the School of Public Policy. I've largely been working with Jeremy Hoffman and Lillard Richardson at the School of Public Policy. We have 8 Penn State students who are attending our conference for the first time ever. I've actually set them up with mentors at the conference, so they will have a friendly face to talk to. And we had a session yesterday just with the students to talk about what to expect and to how to, talk to managers and have a worthwhile experience. So I'm ecstatic at the partnership that we've formed with Penn State and the ability to get students interested in local government, because we're not getting many people into local government, so we have to find new ways to entice them. And on that note, Ryan and I are actually going to be meeting with CPI next Friday to talk about creating an internship program for students at CPI so that they can come and get practical experience in the Public Works Department. And then the thought process is if they like it and we have a job open, we could hire them here. If not, we could help get them placed elsewhere in the Center region, in Center County. So.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That's really exciting.
Yeah. So with that, I'll answer any questions that you have. Oh, and I'll remind you of our meeting with the Planning Commission on June 2nd.
No,
Oh, yeah, got that down.
Ms. Farkas is staring at me when she asks that.
I'm just, no, there are no bad questions.
Oh, did you have a question? Nope. Oh, wow. Can that be noted in the minutes? Okay. Right. Committee reports. So we're on to that. Does anybody here have any report from any committee that they have attended?
Can I bring something up about the Lucy Committee that you're going to see at the General Forum?
Yeah.
So I think it's Lucy that it came from. I could be wrong. The DRI request for ARL, the lab.
Yes.
Yeah, so we haven't had a DRI in a very long time. DRI is a development of regional impact. It's when somebody is located outside of the sewer service area and they would like to have sewer extended to the property. And there's been some maybe misunderstandings is the way to classify it by maybe some elected officials in the Center region about what your role exactly is. So when that gets to the General Forum, and it will be either this month or next month, when it gets to the General Forum, you're not looking at zoning, you're not looking at the use and what's being proposed, you're solely looking at the sewer question. Do you want to extend sewer, the public sewer service area, for this property? So all those other questions are answered by what's called the host municipality. In this case, it's College Township. So that person, when you do a DRI, Development of Regional Impact, your first step is you go to the host municipality and you say, do you support my decision to build a cat sanctuary on 500 acres outside of the sewer service area? I am making that up. But you go and you ask that question. And then the host municipality talks with their planning commission and they say, yes, we support a cat sanctuary on 500 acres outside the sewer service area. Go prepare the report. The report looks at all the impacts that use would have, emergency services, other things, the water, the sewer, all the other things.
Traffic.
And it's in, traffic, and it's in that report. And then when it gets to the elected officials at the general forum level, your only question is not, do I support a cat sanctuary, or do I think that Amy's house is the perfect location for a cat sanctuary? Your question is, do I support extending sewer to that property? And there have been some elected officials elsewhere in the region that have gotten stuck on the zoning side of things, and that is not their purview, it's not their municipality. The DRI process puts the onus on the host municipality to decide what is right for them. And just fun little history fact, back in 2005, which is the last time we comprehensively updated the sewer service area before we created the DRI process, Patton Township, Geisinger wanted to come in and wanted to put in a medical facility. And Patton Township wanted to see the property go on that piece of land, the building. So Patton Township had actually moved to rezone the property ahead of the discussions, and people in the center region said, but wait, now you're forcing our hand because it's a medical facility and that's outside the sewer service area, and you're forcing us to make that decision. Good, bad, or indifferent, the decision was made because Patton Township wanted to see that. It's no different when you talk about a DRI. College Township supports this request from ARL. They've done their due diligence. So again, when it gets to you guys at the general forum, the question for you is just, do you support extending the sewer line? And that's it. And unlike a comprehensive extension of the sewer boundary, this is just to one property. It doesn't go anywhere else. So if you extend it to Amy's Cat Sanctuary in Half Moon Township, it only goes to Amy's Cat Sanctuary in Half Moon Township. It doesn't go anywhere else around that property.
But there's a cost to us.
There's a cost to the person to run the sewer, the developer. There's not a cost to the general forum, and there's not a cost to the host municipality.
So why would you not support it? Like, what would be a reason?
On principle.
So when it's not been supported in the past, it got very contentious, and I'm sorry that Betsy left because she was the attorney on the other side of this back in the day, but it got very contentious back in 2013 maybe, with Calvary Baptist Church location in Harris Township. Calvary Baptist, actually, the bottom of their property touched the sewer service area, and they wanted to build a new church further up on the property, and they wanted to be able to run the sewer line to that church. And there were people, it got to the general forum level, and there were people that on principle didn't want to run sewer even though the sewer already touched that property, and it got deadlocked, and then lawyers got involved. So now there's a supermajority process, so that a supermajority of the COG has to approve it, rather than back then it had to be unanimous. So if all 6 didn't agree, you were done.
So it's supermajority of municipalities?
Yes, of the municipalities, yeah, and it's a unit vote. So, and I understand there are folks on principle that won't want to see certain things, and I totally support and understand that. But when you look at it, the question itself, it's just the merit of the sewer extension. It shouldn't be, there are other things we need to, we've said this, after we finish the comp plan, we do need to look at comprehensively updating the sewer boundary, and because we haven't done that since 2005. And look at the DRI process, which is a process that we made up. I mean, Frank, we drafted. There's no other DRI process in the state of Pennsylvania.
I was going to mention this, so this, you're perfect what you're saying, because when I was at the meeting that, I got for you, they talked a lot about the DRI process, and there's apparently now been instituted a DRI major and a DRI minor process, and what they wanted to point out, the idea is it's a very cumbersome process, so it's a pretty small amount of properties being affected, dwellings, they have different metrics to define which path it goes to. Then it could be in this, like a DRI light process. And apparently the only municipality that's actually used it is College Township. And so they just wanted to go over with the people in that committee about the 2 processes and when you could use both of them. Again, I think just as a refresher.
Yep.
Part of it, so all the municipalities could use it, but they're the only ones so far that have used it. So just.
Yeah, and I can't actually remember the last time we had a DRI before this. It was a while ago.
They're rare. And in fact, the woman that went through this, which is
Pam Adams.
She said that the numbers, it's pretty small numbers that do this process, but it has caused apparently a lot of issues. And the one that you brought up before, I guess when you used to be the manager at Harris, the Hess Field, and that one there was a municipality that didn't support it, and at that point you had to have everybody support it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're going to bring it back up or not, but apparently has been a very contentious issue at times.
Well, I think there's concern among some people that if you give an inch, you're going to give a mile. And the principle behind a sewer service area is to encourage infilling, backfilling, I guess it's called, development within that instead of, so to prevent urban sprawl. But when you give an inch, it is not producing sprawl.
No, it's not producing sprawl, and part of the DRI report that the developer goes through is they actually have to show that they've looked elsewhere in the center region, and they're not able to do this elsewhere in the center region. Calvary Baptist, they owned that piece of property. So when people said, well, there are other church properties, well, they literally owned, it's like 150 acres or something. They owned it, it touched the sewer service area, they want to build their sanctuary there because they own the property, they don't have the money to go out and buy another property.
So what was the principle then that people were standing on that deny that?
So it was a long time ago, but like I said, it was like 2013, but I think it really was the sprawl factor. People were, because the piece of property it tucks sort of into the top layer of Tussey Mountain in a way, like it's one of those buffer properties, and so people thought we were opening up then Tussey Mountain to sewer, which is not the case. Because unlike, it's for one specific property, it doesn't open up anybody next door. And I think the concern was back in the day that people were gonna go out and say, oh, I'm the neighbor to the cat sanctuary that just got sewer, and I need sewer for the dog sanctuary. I'm just using animals, but like that, it would be a thing that would spread, and it hasn't, because again, the process is cumbersome, and it's cumbersome by design. And then the other thing they did with this process is they granted every municipality, you had 50 EDUs, equivalent dwelling units, that you could decide to give out, that's sewer, you could decide to give out as you saw fit. I think College might have been the only municipality that did that, because the developer had to come in and apply and say, I want to build 4 houses, I need 4 EDUs, I'm literally next door to the growth boundary. And then the municipality could say, okay, I agree with that, here's your 4 EDUs. College may have been, and I don't remember, they may have been the only ones that used it, and that all expired with the Development of Regional Impact Agreement that I think has expired a couple of times now and been redone. So sewer's an interesting discussion. And when we talked about the comp plan, which we're in the process of finishing now, we talked about the next thing we really need to do is go back. And I remember in 2005, this is when I came to the Center Region as a manager, when that process started, it was every Tom, Dick, and Harry that had a property that was within 5 miles of Bollesburg showed up at the Harris Township meeting and said, I might want to put something out there someday, so I need sewer. And it was like, take the map, and it was all over the place, and then it was narrowed down. And then it got to the regional level, and people were very concerned about sprawl, and a lot of the properties lost support. Geisinger was one of the few that made it through, actually.
What was?
Geisinger.
Okay. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And so again, if someone like a developer came in and wanted to put homes, and again, it fits, they submitted a plan, it aligns with, it meets all of the requirements based on our zoning, we cannot deny that.
Right.
But if they needed sewer,
You could deny it if they needed sewer. You could, because their option is they can go back and do an on-lot septic system. Excuse me, if they can get their land to perk, right? So you could say if somebody came in and wanted to build outside of our sewer service area out here, you could say, we're just really not comfortable. There's plenty of land inside the sewer service area. We don't support this report. And then it doesn't go any further. That's where the local control stays. So it's always, the COG has always said that the local municipality, the board, should be able to say yes or no because they know better than anybody else what they want to see in their municipality. It just turned into, back in the day when we had these, it turned into somewhat of a very political process. And that's why we had to take away the unanimity that was required, unanimous vote that was required, because we could never get there. Because there were people that just stood on, well, we don't like this municipality, why do we want to help them? Or we don't want to see any growth outside of our area, why are we going to help them over here? It became very parochial, which is not what the COG has ever been. So because we've never had that before, I just wanted to take a quick minute so that when you get it at the general forum, you understand. Of course, I'm always at the general forum meeting. We have a unit vote. We'll break into our unit group. You can ask any questions if you have them.
That was great. I'm glad you did that. Thank you. Okay, so moving right along, do we have any committee reports? Or is what you or some people may have included in the agenda packet sufficient?
And Pam, I forgot to send out your report, but I will do that after this meeting to everybody. I apologize.
We just had our meeting yesterday.
Cool. Okay. So, any other business? And if no other business, I will ask for a motion to adjourn. Okay. Thank you so much. As always.
All right.
Sorry.
I would like the record to reflect that I said so moved.
No, it's not going to.